Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody today? So, as the year has ended, Sarah, I love it that you're here back to back. Brad's another back to backer. So, as the year's ended, one thing I think you've noticed is we've kept the topics fluid. As if this real estate industry was the stock market, it'd probably be one of the most volatile times in history. And some things that are interesting going on. You see yesterday, Redfin left NAR, which I think will be the first of a few bigger dominoes to fall. And here's something that a lot of people don't know. In their lawsuit settlements for the buyer's agent's case, a class action lawsuit for anywhere in RE/MAX, there's a clause in there that if they can get out of the whole buyer's agents thing, that both companies will leave NAR. So our industry is going through historical changes right now. So everyone as many people turn on their cameras, and let's make this as engaging and present. And look, these are all professional development sessions. Like, show up, and if you have your camera on, you're much less likely to be distracted and do something else. Now, as I think through this, one, we've kept our topics fluid in the sense that we're able to give you the right information. And the things that you want to think about is how do I get the most out of myself? And I was going through this tracker. It was about 11 o'clock last night. I was thinking about all of you. And then I realized, as simple as this may sound, there are probably a lot of us, and raise your hand if this is you, that might be challenged. Well, how do I fill out this tracker every day? And then how do I actually put it into my calendar? Anyone else feel that way? A few of us, right? And a few of us won't say anything at all. So what I wanted to do today, and Hersan will drop this in if he has not already in the chat, is that he'll drop the tracker in there, and we're actually going to fill this out live with somebody so you can actually see, how do you think through this? How do you implement it? And how do you do it? Because the reality is, if you're so focused on what I would call, or one of my marketing coaches would call, seductive distractions, you're going to miss the boat here. There is nothing, in the words of FDR, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. These changes are happening. It's inevitable. It's like when people started shopping online for homes instead of directly agents, the people that went through the shift proactively won. The people that did not do so, they lost, and they lost miserably. So as we go through this shift today, we want to make sure that everyone is on the right side of this. So if you can understand how to track your habits, your behaviors, focus on actions, not outcomes, and understand that the best skill you have in your life is not playing around with artificial intelligence. It's learning how to have effective conversations and being able to focus and get the things done that you promise yourself that you do. Like technology, the way it's doing it, it was at the end of this autopilot session, somebody's autopilot literally gave us 5 things that every agent should do. And those were the 5 exact things that I would suggest someone do based on the session. So technology is here to support you, but it'll never remove the fact that you actually need to talk to somebody. And if you're not understanding how to do this in a planned and purposeful way, how are you ever going to get any better? The good news is no one's doing this. Everyone's as distracted as ever with ChatGPT, Compass AI. I'm not saying that any of these things are bad. They're all great, but they're supplements. They're not your primary foundation. And what I realized too is no one has ever actually taught people how to run a productivity tracker, track their habits, build in their business, their life, their routines, put them into their calendar, and then actually have something simple to follow every day. Sarah, I'm going to do this backwards. You had shared your concern at the end of last session. I'd like you to share it in the beginning now.
My concern was just failing at doing this on a daily basis, or, setting myself up for success each week, because the tracker seems so simple, but it's like, life gets in the way. And then what if I fail at it? How do you get back on track?
Look, the thing is thank you. Look, the thing is, we're our own perfect imperfections. The idea that you're going to be perfect at anything in life is unreasonable. But you have to have these failures to grow, and they're all growth opportunities. The best part about a tracker is if it doesn't work one day, you just go back and you have something now to go back on. You don't spiral. And having this expectation that nothing is going to change, It's like the 3 lies that we tell people. I'm going to sell your house for the fastest amount of time for the most money possible with the least amount of hassle. Tell me the fact that you can control price, what another buyer is willing to pay for a home, and a deal that doesn't have problems. We're all going to have problems. It's called life. And in our own context, our problems are going to feel like this. But the simple thing is we all need an operating system to go back to. And that's what this tracker is. And as the year goes on and that we roll out new things and you hear things in coaching that you can do, you can now just simply add them to the tracker, block the time, put it in your calendar because you have this skill. Does that make sense? All right. So who's going to be my volunteer today? You can use anything you want to make your life easy. If it's going to make anything complicated, don't do it. And if you notice in our tracker, it has just 1 week on it. People are like, do I need to make week 1, week 2? I'm like, no, I made it that way on purpose because now if you're measuring productivity and habit stacking on a week by week basis, that is making it complicated. Look, at the end of every week, and you're in sales. At the end of every day, you start at 0. At the end of every week, you start over again. The week starts on Sunday. So if I can teach you all how to implement this tracker and really understand your calendar, you win. So Simon Sinek calls it the infinite game. So there's an infinite game and a finite game. A finite game is there's a starting point, an ending point, a winner and loser, like football. An infinite game is a game that just keeps going and going. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, new players come in, other players drop out. Your business and your career is an infinite game. We all approach it as finite players, and that's why we don't get what we want. There's no win or lose here. Look at Robert Refkin. 10 years ago, he came into this game thinking that it was an infinite game. He played into a bigger vision because he knew it was never going to end. Every one of your old brokerages was finite games. They base you all on profit loss statements. You've never met the leadership, nor will you meet the leadership. And they look at you as a bunch of numbers and profit lines on like a spreadsheet. And we all came here to Compass, right? And if you look at the Compass vision, it's so much bigger than what anyone else has in this industry because it's an infinite game. Your business, your habits, your productivity is the same thing. It's an infinite game that just keeps going and going. So one day as a segment of an infinite game is nothing. And when the day doesn't go well, the only thing that you need to focus on are what distractions got in the way and what am I going to do differently tomorrow. And Sarah, if you can just keep doing that, every day you'll get better. Because you're literally training your subconscious mind to think differently. You're training it to seek problems and find solutions on the spot. We're literally building a whole new operating system. You know, one of my clients jokes around, Angela, she goes, the best part of Chirag is he's a friend, a business coach, and a therapist all rolled into one. So I've had a lot of people in doing performance coaching in literally having to deal with triggers, traumas, and things along that end. And we literally draw out these wheels, and inside of it is the challenge, and then they're all the triggers. But the reason that people have anxiety and it just kind of sits there is 1, they don't know where their anxiety comes from. 2, they don't know what their triggers are. And 3, and the most important part is, I don't care how much therapy you go to, if you look at a therapist's job, it's not to solve your problem, it's to get you to come back to the next session. Great therapists will look to solve problems. Other ones will just keep you talking. Because if they solved everyone's problems in 4 to 6 weeks, do you think they're great client acquisition people? Probably not. So this is my personal gripe with this. But if you have anxiety and there's a trigger, you need a coping mechanism to deal with it. If not, you end up in the same place. So you can train yourself to do this. So who's going to be my volunteer today? Sharon and Brad and Mary. Well, you know what? Why don't all 3 of you volunteer and we'll all do this together? So you guys all open your trackers and I'll keep one mastermind. Everyone that has a tracker should open it right now. We got 3 volunteers. Last time we could barely get 1. You guys are winning. Okay. Do we have everybody spotlighted? All right. The first part is your morning routine. So here, what you want to do is put in the activities, right? So everyone share, what's one thing you do in the morning when you start your day?
I let the dogs out and feed them.
Okay.
Exercise.
Exercise too.
Brad?
Yeah, likewise, exercise.
So look, you're going to want to put the time block in. How long? So Mary, how long is letting the dog out take? 30 minutes?
15 because I do it before I listen to you, so I have to hurry.
Right, I'll say
Two
20.
dogs.
So this is 6 a.m.
Yeah, 6 a.m. 6:15.
20
And I
minutes. Dogs
get a
out.
cup of coffee.
Frequency?
Oh, well, every morning actually.
So
In the week.
Okay, so you do this 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Right? And then see this calendar place, everybody? She needs to add this to her calendar. And then here, she just simply keeps track of doing it. That's all that this is. Right? So what you really want to do is now take your
Oh.
morning, right?
Oh, that's interesting because I thought you added to it to, if you say you're going to do it 3 times a week or 4, whatever, you check the boxes, but you're saying you only check it when you've done it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then
You can, if you want to do this 5 days and you want to put it in your calendar, I would use it multi-purposefully and I would check the 5. And then when I add it to the calendar, I'd uncheck it. And every week I could look at this and say, all right, I want to do this 5 days. How come I didn't do it 5 days? Where did it go well, right? Exercise. How long do you guys exercise for?
20 minutes,
How long?
An hour.
20.
30 minutes.
All right, cool. So I'm going to put 60 minutes. Brad, what time do you exercise?
About 7:30, half hour.
7:30. Right, so if we added this, insert. So this would be 6:30. All right, let's just say coaching call. That's 30 minutes. Then 7:30, 60, 5. How many days you exercise?
5 days.
5 days. Mary, how many days you exercise?
3 days.
3 days, right? So look, say in her case, right, it's 3 days. Now she knows in those other 2 days between 7:30 and 8 or whatever, there's an empty space where she can now add something in. Make sense?
Yeah.
So this is, so you're going to literally list your activities. You're going to list the frequency and you're going to put need to add to calendar. And then you go into your calendar and you add all this stuff in, right? You go to the next one, important personal events, right? You can put workout here, whatever it is, breakfast, help with kids, work. These aren't personal events. What are some things you do for yourself?
I tend to keep dinner time free with my partner, so I make sure that I kind of have some time in the evening.
All right, what time do you eat dinner?
Between 6 and 7.
So let's say 6:30. Say 90 minutes.
Yeah.
5 times a week. Like, look, this is where you put in date nights, any kind of hobbies you have, like things that are important to you, you build them out in here. Now, holidays, right? These are the things that you'll want to just kind of put in here in your calendar. So these might be one-off things you add here, you add them to your calendar, and then you can delete them, right? So what success looks like is you fill out your morning tracker, you pull out your personal events, holidays, time off, any one-off events, parent-teacher conferences, school events, socials, activities, holiday parties. You build them all in here. Does anyone have any questions so far?
So you need to add them manually to the calendar. It doesn't like automatically, there's no way to like sync them.
No. And I want you to manually add them.
Chirag, I had a question. Do we color code these so we know which is personal time, which is business time, which is, that?
You can, if your brain works that way in a Google Calendar, you can do it however you want.
Okay.
Like if you go to, let's see. I go here, which will be into your email. Calendar, yeah, here it is. All right, let's take off my calendar. So look, you can pick something here, right?
Yeah.
And you see this as the time zone does not repeat. You could pick repeat. You can put every weekday, annually, monthly, weekly, or custom, or you can pick the days and everything else. And you build them all in. And you start tracking them. Now, business activities. Everyone needs to have prospecting. You see, you need water to live, right? You need prospecting. Prospecting is water in your business. Role playing, networking with Compass agents. You can get rid of the biweekly sync.
What about coaching? We put that in too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the business section?
Yeah. Or if it's part of your morning routine because you wake up really early, it's just the way you start your day, you can put it there either. So listen, you can put these things anywhere. If you notice, we put morning and evening routine. I would put your evening routine here as well. But if we put your morning and evening routines and personal events in here first, because we want you to build a business that fits into your life, not fill everything up in your business and then hope that you have enough time for your life in between.
Chirag, could I ask a question?
Yes, as many as you like.
Okay, well, I actually started this myself last week, and on my calendar, sometimes things get in the way, as they do.
That's
And
fine.
And I found I can actually cancel, click on whatever it is that happens 5 days a week, and I can right click on it, and I can delete it, that just one event for that day. So
Yeah, look, the important thing to flag in this, these are not a set of concrete blocks. This is a framework to work off of. So if you have to cancel your prospecting time, which is like not drinking water, you better make sure that it's a client ready, willing, and able to work on your terms, that's willing to purchase in the next 30 days, and has a real reason to move. Sharon, what do you got going on in your mind? You're here too. I haven't heard from you.
What's the question?
In general, how do you feel about this so far? Questions, comments, thoughts, concerns?
No, actually, it's pretty good.
It's simple, right? Now, here's the next thing that I want you guys to all look at that's important. You see this proactive? This is proactive. This is proactive. Right now, if you're just role playing when you have time and it's coming, it's just reactive, right? If it's something that's fixed, it's something I just need to know I need to do. But if you're doing it with a purpose and not just doing it, then it becomes proactive, right? If you put in check emails and stuff and you're reacting to it, you put it as a reactive task. So this way you can see if you're playing offense or defense. Daily improvement tracker. Okay, who wants to actually go through this and give an example from yesterday?
yesterday.
Yeah, what producing activities you do yesterday?
Oh, hang on a minute. I began Mary, I began calling estate attorneys. We put together a campaign for calling them. So we started calling them in the morning. And then the distraction that got in the way is that I've been working with the local city in San Mateo here to try and get permits for a remodel for a listing I have. And that totally blew up my morning.
Well, it's not a distraction. That's something you have to do. So a distraction is unplanned activity that hijacked your day or time block.
Well, that was unplanned.
Oh, okay.
What will I do differently tomorrow? I guess today, focus on making the calls first, because we have 5 we're making a day.
Don't negotiate your prospecting time.
Okay.
Your time block before going to your phone, email, text. Brad, what do you have?
How how do you define an income producing task
An
again?
income producing task is something to create new business that doesn't even exist today. Like these people haven't heard from you, they're not thinking of moving, they're not thinking of referring somebody to you. It's proactive outreach and trying to. So if you call 5 past clients, that's income producing.
Got it. Well, I touched base with 3 clients, and I networked with 2 managers and 3 other agents within my network.
Are these active clients?
Two active clients, 1 not presently active now.
Right, so the active client doesn't count because the deal existed. So you'd
Got it.
say 1 past client and 2 managers. Great. What distractions got in the way?
I had some back pain, had to end up going to see a chiropractor in the
That's
middle
not a
of the day.
distraction. That's a reality of life.
Okay.
A
I don't know that I
distraction
had too
is
many
unplanned
distractions.
activity, right? Like say your phone rings, an email, you get stuck in a social media hole longer than you expected.
Yeah, I don't have too many distractions.
That's good.
Or
They're
at least not yesterday.
okay. Good. We'll catalog them. Sharon?
Income producing activity. I scheduled a meeting with a sphere.
Okay. So you want to make sure to at least on income producing activities, at least have 5 like conversations or touch points. What distractions got in the way?
I spent way too long at Sam's Club Cafe.
All right, what would you do differently today?
Stick to my schedule.
Only stay places for the time you have blocked for them. You see that?
Mhm.
That's specific. Stick to your schedule is too general. Now, skill building. What are the skills that you're actively working on?
I had this in here. Hang on. Scripting.
On what?
Pardon?
What part of scripting? What do you practice?
What makes me different than other agents? I'm trying to get that totally down, and so I don't have to keep doing it.
So look, when you're building skills and role playing, you want to practice the same thing over and 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 over again until you get it to memory and with confidence. That when
Yeah.
people say that, you're like, okay, got them. Because you know they're going to ask someone else that question and they're not going to be able to answer it. So it's like, what do I need to do to master the skill? You could write practice 2 times a week. You add in your calendar. What do you still need clarity on? Meaning, is there any additional information you need to be able to make a decision? Brad?
I'm working on my value proposition.
Perfect. Practice it, practice it, practice it. Mary?
I settle on my script and make why am I different? What makes me different from other agents?
Perfect.
Okay.
And sleep tracker. It's so important to track your sleep to your performance. I
Mm.
can tell you if I go under 6 hours of sleep, it's a completely different day. And the stuff I need to put in my brain to start my day and get me all mentally jacked up is way different. So you want to know that what's your target time, your actual bedtime, did you achieve your goal, your wake up time, when you woke up, how much sleep you had, woke up on time with enough sleep, woke up on time but not enough sleep, you still felt tired, woke up late but got enough sleep, woke up late and didn't get enough sleep. Start tracking this. And then you can start measuring your habits and your productivity in a day and how distracted you are. I can tell you, just using myself as an example, if I don't sleep as much, I'm 100 times more likely to spend more screen time on a phone. And I hate the cell phone. But something happens when I get under 6 hours worth of sleep where my screen time just spikes. Or finding distractions.
Yeah,
Realize-
for me, it's poor eating habits. If I don't get enough sleep, I eat too much carbs, too much sugar. It affects my brain, my thought process. It's a mess.
So you know if you don't get enough sleep, you have to be hyper-focused on what you eat. I binge eat too if I don't sleep, so I'm with you. All right, and that sums it up. Now, who here, thank you to the 3 of you. Sharon, you good with your sleep?
Yes.
Okay. Mary?
I had the worst night I ever had since I can remember. I woke up every 2 hours, and I think maybe I had a little too much wine last night. We went to a friend's house for dinner. Not going to do that again. It was bad.
So now you know. Look, everyone has to make mistakes to learn. If you're not making mistakes and doing this, you're not doing it. Period. End of story. I give you full permission, boom, to make the mistakes you need to make to grow. Whoever's Kathy, this is Tracy's autopilot. Add morning routine of letting dogs out and feeding them in. Brad, Sharon, look at these, look at these summaries that these things send. They're crazy. Like, this is mind-blowing. It's pretty wild. So where do we go from here? Number one, everyone start building this out. Start doing this today and just get whatever parts you can and get into momentum. The goal is M&M. Once you have momentum, you find the multipliers, the people, places, and things that can multiply your effort, like coming here, the right partners, the right role-playing partners, the support from your manager, the support from technology. Is this complicated? Only the person starting with your first name sitting in your chair can make this complicated. But if you do this for the next 90 days, you will own the world. You'll be going into next year like you're walking into a movie scene with like the wind in your hair, the music dropping. Everyone's like, hey, like that's what you're going to feel like. Because when everyone's stopping and going backwards, you're going forward like this. And then when you learn something new about, oh, wow, here's how I track my money and spend every month, you add it into your tracker, you put it in your schedule, and that's it. If you can just stick to what you're supposed to do in the time that was given to you to do it, you're fine. All right, we have a couple minutes left. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? Can we all do this? Raise your hands. Are we all going to do this? Keep your hands up.
Question, Chirag. So what gives me a little anxiety about doing this type of thing, and I do it, I just had a different method, but what gives me some anxiety is I like to have, some space and some margin in my day. Is that something that you would put in this tracker?
Yeah. When you do all this stuff, the thing you realize is how many blank spaces there are. And then you start asking yourself, what the hell do I really do every day? Think about it. Most people spend 5 to 7 hours on here. Look, and in the end, when you need to like block time off for clients and they're like, when do you want to meet? Oh, I have Monday between 3 and 5 or Thursday between, 12 and 2. Do either of those work for you? No. All right, then go to the times you have before you have to just start giving up your times. Stop telling people, so when are you available? It's a bad question to ask people. And look, understand things change, but if you remove a block, put it somewhere else. Account at the end of the week for the things that you need to do. Sound good, everybody? All right. Well, I think it's next week we start a 3-part business planning series. And now look, here's the thing. We put this email out. It went out at Herson will tell you what time it is. We have a WhatsApp group. And look, if you look to the right of the name of the accountability chat, there's a thing that looks like a person icon, like right over there. There's actually 3 groups in here. There's an announcement group, an accountability chat, and a role play chat, as opposed to having 100 different chats, right? So make sure that you see our email, that you sign up and go into WhatsApp, join the group. So if you're looking for a role play partner and someone just happens to want to do it and they don't know how to ask or don't want to ask, they just respond and do it. And my commitment is as active as you guys are in these chats, is as active as I'll be. So if you want more interactions, engagement, want us to do more stuff, just get active. And literally there are hundreds of people you can connect with. So we got to get you all on here. So if you've not, look at our email. Herson, what time do we send it? 3:45 Eastern, which is 12:45 Pacific. So check your email. If you don't have it, email playbook at Chirag Shah Coaching. If you're on your cell phone right now, you can click the link here in the chat. And it'll be attached there'll be a link to it in this session as well. So it's always love in my heart. I love you all. Keep believing in yourselves and limitless possibilities. And just know we're here. We got your back. And this is going to have more fun, exciting things coming. So hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Rod.
Bye.
Bye.